gold, silver, stuff like that have already made higher highs today. Uh, when you see a Monday high on TQQ, for example, on the QQQ at 87 and it's traded at 89.70, that's very positive.
Oh
So
yeah,
I think
definitely.
the trend's intact. And then we had 460 was the high at 7 o'clock this morning. And we just took that out at 64.62 on E-mini. And looks to me like and here's the interesting part. I put it, Chuck, one of my magic five this morning was NVIDIA, which I thought was a aggressive play. But NVIDIA actually, went down to 167 yesterday, 169 today, and now Nvidia's, approaching that 172 area, which if it takes that out, then it goes into play if it takes out 173. You got Apple Computer, they got real positive news. Think about this, Chuck. Monday's high was 230. Apple Computer today, and I'm just putting things in perspective. Apple Computer's 237, new high for the year there at 237. Uh, Market's going higher. I mean, you just got to see how it's going to happen. But you got to get above Monday's high on S&P 64.91. Then you get into last week's high up there at 65.24. So I think this thing's unwinding pretty good because silver. I like how I've termed it the golden age of silver. Uh, it's pretty awesome to look there at silver and see it go up today. Made a new high over Monday's high, which was stretched out at 41.99. We went to today's high. You ought to write this down,
40.
42.30. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 42.29. I mean, that's silver is
And,
Chuck.
and and that caught my eye because you've got, a big number there at 42, which it was struggling to get above in August. And seeing that this morning, as soon as you got 42 something, you knew you had something there. And GLD, Tom, I mean, you made a call on that yesterday.
That
What
was one of
what was it?
my
If it
top.
breaks
That was
above
one.
322.50, look at
Yeah,
it
that was
now.
one of my top plays of the week was GLD. If you look at it, it's at 327.64. Uh, Look, I just think that you know if you read, this is what gets me, Chuck. If you go read the financial press, a
Mhm.
crash is imminent. Okay, a crash is imminent in the market. I mean, it's almost like the hedge funds are short and they're putting out all this paid for advertisement trying to keep people out of the market, but you got to trade what you see. I mean, look at Google. Now Google has been a lagger, but Google today is up $17, Chuck, off that court ruling.
Yeah, I was about to say they got a little help from the Justice Department.
Yeah, which is sort of interesting, okay? But you got a higher reference bar now on the E-mini NASDAQ. Uh,
Yeah, the Dow is still slowing down. I think one of the interesting things is I look at this rally and it seems to be moving back towards tech, right? So we had that shift where we moved away from tech a little bit, and you see the
mhm.
tech coming back. We got the Dow staying inside RB3. We got the Russell Future small caps very much inside RB3. I keep checking them to make sure they're still updating because they really haven't done that much this morning. But then you got the Nasdaq, which has said, "Hey, jump on my back. I got this. I'm back. Let's go."
Yeah, the Nasdaq's back, right? And but I don't think it hurts to have Apple, which used to be the big mama, uh, come back into play. If it takes out 250, Chuck, that was a big number on Apple. If that takes
Mhm.
out 250, then you push all your chips to the center of the table because we're going a lot higher in a lot of different stocks. And then you got to say, okay, uh, I've been telling people I thought Tesla was the most undervalued value stock out there, and I think that as long as Elon stays out of politics and focuses on managing the business, that stock zooms. Um, but no, just looking around the table, you've got market in pretty decent shape right here. Uh, yeah, I was looking at KGC as a stock. I just bought some more of it this morning. KGC, that's a stock I bought, oh God, $7 or $8 or whatever in here, and told people about it. And boy, that stock just chugs along. It's not a big mover, but it moves.
And that's gold stocks. So you're taking advantage of those metals surging.
Yeah. Uh, what's the symbol T? Was it TOPT? I've never traded a manual TOPT. Chuck, if you know anything about it?
iShares top 20 US stocks. That's interesting. Um, so basically like a more concentrated that sounds to me like something you could take advantage of the Mag 7 maybe. Um,
It's on a
top,
bicycle on MTI.
yeah,
You know,
I'd have to research that a little bit
yeah,
to see
I'd
what
have
the
to watch
formula
it.
is.
What I'm doing is looking at stocks. I've got a whole list of. I really spent a lot of time this weekend finding gold and silver stocks. And I was going to tell my story, Chuck. This is back, I forget, back during maybe 2005, 2006. I have to look exactly, but I was buying $5 silver coins. Okay. And I was buying these coins. I gave them to my sons, gave them to, a couple people. And I thought to myself, 5,000 little boxes of these coins, right? Silver. You remember the Vascos, right?
Yeah.
Vascos, they were really into the silver and gold. But anyway, I was buying those $5 coins, and I got to thinking about it. I did that over about a year and a half buying those $5 coins. Well, those coins, I'm going to check the exact price today, but with silver at 42, minimum 8 times what I paid for it. It starts adding up there, depending on how many I got to go check. But I was talking to Morgan this morning. I said, you better pull out your coins. I think you got some money there.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the what top 10
Well, let's answer
holdings and
Gwen's question. That's a great
okay.
question. Gwen, for the roadmap, Jonathan Rowe will be the best person to ask, but I think I used a Mac for years, but I use the computer side of it, or I guess I forget what it was called, but you got
partition.
what is it called?
I think you partition it to where you
Yeah,
can run Windows on the Mac.
yeah, that's what I had done, and I used a Mac at the time. Um,
Windows Parallels. A lot of folks like to use Windows Parallels as well as a more streamlined approach to doing
Right.
that.
That way you could have both the Mac side and the Windows side up at the same time.
Yeah, and I think the setup is a little easier too. If you're a computer whiz, you can do boot camp probably no problem. But it'd take me a little bit of time to figure out how to do boot camp. But Parallels is really straightforward.
there you go, Gwen. Send an email, get set up. He'll help you. Row at DTI Trader. Parallel only. Right, John?
We laugh, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Parallel.
No, that's what I said.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. I'd be glad to help you, Gwen, but we're going to be doing parallel. Okay.
Now, John says boot camp only works on the old Intel machines. I didn't know that. Thanks for
I
typing
didn't
that
know
in.
that either, John.
Doesn't work on the new Apple M1 chips. So.
Gotcha. Thanks, Adam. Yep. So there you go. Windows Parallels is definitely the route to go.
Well, why don't we get into it, Chuck? We got a lot to talk about.
We certainly
think
do, and
that-
it's interesting to me, Tom. It's Wednesday, but it's only the second trade day of the week, so this is going to be kind of a different format than we're used to.
Right, yeah, because if you sit here and think about it, you got a couple stocks that have been lagging or starting to go. I'll go over those at some point in the presentation. I'll probably do a trade today, just to let you know. Does everybody here understand that we follow these trades in our T&T room? You really are. I know more people are catching on by joining T&T, and I wanted to mention that. It's T&T is really where I can reach out to you throughout the week or day and night, and give you information that will help you. But TNT is really something I think that everybody here ought to be a member of. But there's a high degree of risk involved in trading. There's no cookie cutter approach. You got to have strategies that will play whatever market. Notice this week in our power program, traditional wisdom would have had us setting out, but I said gold and silver are so strong. Jonathan just told me we targeted 100% there again this week. That's, if I get 100%, I move on to the next week when I get 100%. So past performance is not indicative of future results. Now, this is our weekly newsletter. Boy, this thing, Chuck, you got a special report coming out on Wednesday to evaluate what we said, don't you?
Well, yeah, and again, that's one of those things. Wednesday, yes, we did. We do have a special report that was put together last night, focusing on GLD actually.
Well, good.
Now,
Good.
In addition to that, you've got more information from that newsletter because it came out on the first day of the week, which was last night. So you got kind of a double build in here.
Yeah, no kidding. This letter is a good way to capture. I call it through the executive summary of trading. I think we're approaching like 500 members. We got a Telegram room. You sure got to get in the Telegram room. Chuck and I are going to keep you entertained, where the money is, so to speak, even though the letter comes out on the first trade day of the week. So that's our goal. And it's only $9.99. By the way, that's for a year, $9.99 for a year. That's pretty good, I think. I think people will appreciate that. People tell me they love it. I think it's like having a personal assistant, trading assistant, because you get it at the first of the week, and you got something to refer to on a clipboard throughout the week. It's pretty hot news that comes out after that first trade day of the week, I think. Anyway, got any questions about it? Want to be a member? Okay, I got to have 6 of you join. Adam said we got 494 members. Who doesn't have it will join out of this group, because I got to get over 500. I want to have a half of 1,000. The fastest to 1,000 in the history of DTI if I get 6 more people. Anybody here step up and buy a year's worth of the newsletter? Help me get across the line, or know somebody to buy some? $9.99. Adam did say before I wake up and change the price, you can extend your subscription. Good idea, Adam. I just want to have 500 people in here say we've made it. 500 people. All right, anybody gonna step up? Don says he'll buy. Okay, we need 5 more. 5 more stepping up. Maybe I won't give you a trade day if you're not going to help me here, What do you think? Chuck, or Jonathan, one of you go through different categories of what makes it so successful. Maybe Jonathan would be the best for that one.
Yeah, well, Tom and I get together right at the close pretty much on Monday, or usually Monday, Tuesday this week, of course. And I say, hey, Tom, what's your broad market update? And he gives me about a paragraph's worth of information.
We had another one signed up, so that we're at 496. We need 4 more. Keep going. Thanks,
and that's
Pam.
probably that's one of the more important sections, if you ask me, keeping that bigger picture. So we put that right at the top. First thing you read. We go on through and we get to key news for the week. Actually, before we get to key news for the week, we show you MTI charts of our 7 sisters, minus the DAX, but most of the 7 sisters. So the SPY, the QQQ, USO for crude oil, GLD for gold, the hot market, and TLT for bonds. So you can see, even if you don't have MTI by DTI, you can see what stocks are setting up long, what stocks are setting up short, and what stocks are saying best to keep your hands in the pocket and stay out. So we do that, and then we give you the key news for the week, which is always important to remember. This is actually a big week of news, capped off with the employment situation reports on Friday morning. And then we have the earnings. Earnings are dying down at this point, but we still have some pretty key earnings this week. I think we have Salesforce this week. I think we have Broadcom this week. Dollar Tree was one, American Eagle. So we just let you know what the key earnings are this week. Then you get into Tom's Magic 5. Now, this is more of the actionable items. Tom's Magic 5. He gives you 5 stocks that he's watching closely, and we give you a trigger number, and then we give you support and resistance on that. So you can play those however you like. You can play them with share trading. You can play them with long call or long put trading, or option spreads, however you prefer to trade, your personal style. It's right there for you. And then finally, the special opportunity of the week. Tom picks out usually 1, sometimes 2 of his favorite opportunities of the week. And last week it's been mentioned, but last week was GLD. And boy, that one really took off and paid nicely. So that's just jam-packed with tons of information. Mark says it's probably the best $10 you'll ever spend. It's a no-brainer. Repost that. Thanks, Mark. Yep, it's only $9.99 for a full year. Okay, Tom.
Pretty sweet. Okay, sorry about that. I was checking. All right, here's a big bonus. The Retirement Center Educational Telegram. What I'm trying to do is share ideas that are longer term with you. And I do it through my retirement account I have at Tasty Trade. Got about 20% of the money invested in dividend payers, and got 2 more. I need 2 more. 1 more. I got 1 more. Who's going to be the 500th person? 1 more. But anyway, the retirement center, you ought to join this. And if you got a Tasty Trade account, I have a series of lectures on Tasty Trade. And the idea there is to show you the second half of the year a tactic that I use to trade retirement money. Not active, but more of a longer term approach we use with the Retirement Center. And this is totally free. This is growing also. We have a Telegram channel. And a lot of people sign up for it, forget to get to the most important part of it is the Telegram channel. So we'll have don't we have a flash meeting this Friday?
Yep, we sure do.
Carol says she'll take us over 500. Well, thank you, Carol. Hope your sister gets better. All right, so the point is the Retirement Center. I just can't talk about it enough. We've got, John, do you know when we're going to meet Friday where everybody can put it on the schedule?
Yeah, I was just looking that up. It's 2 p.m. Eastern time Friday. So an hour before the wrap up, we'll do the retirement.
Perfect. 2 p.m. Friday. Be there or be square. How do you get an invitation? You got to be in the Telegram room. Yeah, Buck, you can purchase one and gift it to anybody you want to. Absolutely. Thank you, Buck. That'll go down in my books next time you do something with me. That extra effort you just made. Thank you. Adam will let us know when it's officially in the books. We got over 500. That's good. Sure, Mark, that's fine. No problem. I just want you to get the education. And if you need a DTI referral, Mark, use this number, Row at DTI Trader. Row at DTI Trader, anybody that joins our retirement center. I plan on doing a real series in September on the retirement center at some point. Willis said, I'm helping you get over 500. Well, thank you, Willis. Appreciate that. Anyway, I want to use Tastytrade. I think it's one of the best educational platforms I've used for futures, options, and stock. And I think that's great. And if you're in my futures program, I'm going to share a trade I did, a spread on silver in the futures program. If you're part of that, I'll do that when I finish sometime today around noon or whatever. So be looking in that Telegram channel. Michael had an issue getting signed up. All right, September 22nd, 23rd, we have a class here in Ponte Vedra Beach at the Plantation Clubhouse. And we'll meet on a Monday and Tuesday, I think. Is that 22nd, 23rd, Monday and Tuesday? Let me double check. September. Yeah, Monday and Tuesday. Meet here. Adam said Charles and Don just came across as 500, 501. Remember, if you sign up for a small class, the economics are such that you get 1 year added to your online education with me, and you get to be face-to-face. We spent a lot of time yesterday talking about face-to-face, okay, and how important that is. So that's good. That's real good. I'll teach you more in 2 days. This is my promise that you'll get in a year of online. When I say that, talk to people that come. Talk to people that come. Welcome to Train and Trade. I think we're having a lot of fun with. Are y'all enjoying Train and Trade as much as I am? I know Chuck's enjoying it and Jonathan's enjoying it. How about y'all? Is everybody here enjoying Train and Trade? What would you tell people if we were trying to get more people here? Give me a couple of thoughts that Adam can use in an email to wake people up to what we're doing every day. If you got any, that would be helpful. Stan, a man of few words. Good stuff. Kevin said, this is awesome. Learn something new every day. Love that we use the roadmap too. Yeah, sort of practical use of the roadmap. I like that. Don't sell yourself short by missing it. Very interesting. I like what Pete says, like finding diamonds on your walk. John says, insights on trading you won't find anywhere else. I think that's true, John. I agree with you. All right, let's go to the next slide. T-Buzz Talk and Trade. Go to dtitrader.com/TNT. Any trade that we do in here will be tracked through that program. And, you know, as somebody said it helps you increase your income and reduce and limit the losses. In my opinion, market's going higher. That's my opinion. Today's focus is 5 stocks on this week's watch list, why we picked them, and why we think they'll make you money. AEM. Now, AEM is a new one I brought forth, but AEM is looking good. This is in the gold silver complex. QQQ got so oversold on Monday, I thought QQQ might be a buy and go higher, and I've been right about that. So QQQ. NVIDIA, I saw order flow coming in at 169. NVIDIA is trying to get above 173. Going to be good. GLD, Chuck's been talking that. Okay. And diamond. I'm looking at the diamond trade as a way to pick you up some extra money. I've been working with it the last 10 days. Not doing too bad. I'm 95% accurate, and hitting about anywhere from 20 to 35% on the diamond. Steps for finding the weekly trend. Find stocks that are setting up to thrive this month. Can we pinpoint which of the 5 stocks are primed to go higher and which need to do some more work first? Find stocks that are either above last month's high or above the midpoint from last month. Now, does everybody know how to get those numbers? You got to know how to get the midpoint and know where the high of last month is and the low. Okay?
If you have the roadmap, you can use the roadmap to find the midpoint pretty easily, or you can do the calculation yourself. I'll show you both.
Okay. You want to do it right now? Show it to him.
Yep. All right, this is a compass chart. At the top of the chart, there's a row of data where you'll find open, high, low, close, and then midpoint. If you scroll your mouse over each candle, the data updates. It gives you midpoints. Now these
Notice
are
he's got it on the daily.
right, but I had to point that out first. To get the chart to where you're seeing monthly candlesticks, I like to first click it over to long in the metrics, which gives you a weekly candlestick chart. And then up top, you can change it to monthly. There's a monthly tab up top. Now that we're looking at monthly candlestick charts, if I put my mouse over the prior candle, you can see, and you look up here in the midpoint circle, you can see the midpoint for the month, last month on the QQQ is 567.5. 567.5. Now, if you didn't have a roadmap, maybe you're just looking at a chart and you found the high for last month was that 583.32, and the low from, let's see, 583.32 was the high from last month, and the low from last month was 551.68. You can just do the math yourself. Add the high and the low together, 583.32 high plus 551.68. Then you divide that by 2 to get a midpoint of 567.5. Couple different ways to find the midpoint. You don't have to have a roadmap to have it tell you what it is. You can just do the math yourself. Add the high and low together, divide by 2.
Any questions about that? Because that's going to lead to your success in the next month, knowing those two metrics I just gave you. Now, clearly, a stock that goes above last month's high is in better shape than one that doesn't. Hence, if you look at the last month's high on AEM and the last month's midpoint, everybody can see why I like this stock for further gains this month. Does everybody see how this one is really strong? AEM. There was a new addition this Sunday night. I said, I want to trade it. And I think do we have an option play here or something? Don't we?
Tom, it was mentioned on yesterday's weekly trade letter, but
Yeah, got it. No option play yet. Okay, I got you. I did it personally then. I'm subject to doing that if I really like it, and I really liked it, so I did it yesterday. Okay, let's just see here. So, got pretty cool though. I think when you sit here and think of this stuff, mapping out, and that metric that I gave you is something I use all the time. Does everybody? I want everybody here to acknowledge the power of, if you had $1,000 to put in, would you put it in this stock or something else? I would put it in this stock because it's got all the criteria met. You got a strong sector, you got a stock that looks good, and I would give it a priority if I could get it set up correctly. Okay, so by looking this way at AEM, it makes you think, okay, that's a good one to have in your account of options, we'll call it, okay?
next stop up on our list is QQQ.
Now, look at this one. This is one that's shaky, but it's coming our way. I thought it was overdone, thought maybe the low was being made. Last month's midpoint was 567.50. So this is sort of did we go higher than Monday's high? So if you look at Monday's high on the QQQ, it was 566. So we went higher than Monday's high on the QQQ. Therefore, if I get a positive reference bar, I might do an option play on the QQQ. Does everybody understand how I got here? Not as strong as AEM, but strong enough I would take a play on it because of where it's currently at with the market. That's QQQ. And I trade a lot of QQQs, as everybody's aware of. Okay?
Next up, NVIDIA.
Now, NVIDIA, if you look at it, okay, the last month midpoint was 176, which means we're below that, and last month's high was 184. I put it as a short-term, basically day trade today in TNT. I said, if it goes above 173 today, I think there's some room to go up to 175, so I'm going to take it. Again, I thought the stock got overdone. It made a low of 167, followed by a low today of 169. And that's an example of a short-term play. Needs to go a lot higher to make the list of buy and hold type thing. Does everybody see the difference in NVIDIA? Where it currently is versus AEM.
All right, next up is gold, GLD.
All right, this one is, notice last month's high was 318. I got long at, as Chuck said, 322.50. This stock is going and blowing. And in fact, right now it's at 328.25. You see how good this method I just showed you is? This is where it plays out because we were early in this week on a stock that was breaking north. Above last month's high, it's got a new monthly high going on. I mean, this stock surged. Does everybody see the power of GLD when it's broken down this way? And so what we're looking for is these high probability trades like we did on GLD. Well, it's pretty clear if you use these metrics, isn't it, Jonathan?
It is.
Now, the test will be after we finish up trading tomorrow, can we go higher than the 3-day algo on GLD? Clearly, you could do a put spread on it, but I'm talking about further up gains if you get higher than that 3-day high tomorrow. Okay, that's GLD. Now the diamond, very interested in the diamond. I'm working on something with the diamond because I think the diamond offers unique opportunity. It's been a while. I used to trade it almost, on a daily basis, but it's been a while. But what I figured out on the diamond, this thing's got 2 great trades each week. And so I'm working up to parameters to take advantage of that. And again, look at what it did. The diamond's high last month was 457, right? It's at 452. We're above the midpoint. So if you get a positive reference bar, you can trade this one this week. And it also offers a put selling opportunity too. Anyway, these are kind of things that you can do to improve your bottom line by finding these opportunities. Now, you got to focus on sectors that are surging. Example, gold and silver. You got to have some exposure in those sectors because they're just too good to leave dormant. And right now, both gold market and the silver market are hot, hot, hot. A lot of money in those markets right there. Now, I went this morning, this is what I did. I went through every ticker this week that I'm going to trade. And I've got the high and low of each of those tickers. Gold futures has already made a new high for the week. Silver futures, like we were talking, made a new high. Diamond needs to get above 453.70, and it's currently 452.22. Just to give you an idea, I'd set an alert at 453.70 on that. Apple's clearly made a new high. I got American Express on my board at 331. NVIDIA above 172 makes a new high for the week. Palantir, let's talk about Palantir. Palantir, there was a series of articles talking as most overvalued stock in history or whatever. Well, Palantir looks like it's about ready to start going up again because its high was 158. Its high over the last 5 days was 162. Palantir is 159 right now, got above 160 during that rally portion of the move. So there's a lot of what I would say opportunity here if you're willing to take it. If you're willing to take it. Now here's the stocks. Week start high, week start low. You can check off AEM, you can check off QQQ. NVIDIA's not there right now. GLD's there, and the diamond's not there. That's the current status of where we're trading and how the day looks. I think if you listen to what I just showed you, I open up a gold mine. Now, how many of you would like to be in a program using a roadmap predictor along with this monthly look at the market we've got one I'm going to talk about in a little bit. It's called the Afterburner program, but the roadmap predictor will tell you where the target is from the implied option moves. Let's see what it says.
This is
AM
going
said,
out September 5th. So this is going out to this Friday's expiration. And there's a distinction to make, Tom. I can cover this part, give you a little break.
yeah, give me a break. Thank you.
The roadmap predictor is a feature of the software, roadmap software, where it's great to use it in the pre-market because it's based on the prior day's closing option prices to predict, fitting name predictor, predict where the options can move by your expiration. So I use September 5th as Friday's expiration. And for AEM, it gives you a predicted bullish move up to 150, almost 151, and then to the downside 145. So that's kind of the implied range that the options are implying on a move from now until Friday. There's your QQQ. It's got a resistance 575, support 557. And now NVIDIA. NVIDIA, I'm showing you the manual calculation. So at this point in the day, we're a couple hours into the cash market. Remember that predictor is based on the prior day's closing prices. Well, if the market's moved enough during the day, you might are better off doing the manual calculation. So I showed you with NVIDIA here, the manual calculation. What you do is you go to the option chain for the expiration you want to use. Again, September 5th is what we use today. You find the closest strike to the current price. So when I grabbed this, the price of NVIDIA was 171.46. So our closest strike at that point was 172.5. What you're going to do is you're going to add up both the call and the put premiums. So the call option was about $1.65 and the put option was about $2.65. Add those together to get a total premium of $4.30. Then you add that premium to the strike price to get your resistance. So 172.5 plus 430. The options were implying a potential move higher up to 176.80, 176.80 as resistance. Or you can subtract that premium from the strike price to find your implied support. So 172.5 minus 430 is 168.20. So the numbers on NVIDIA, doing this the manual way on the live market, at least when at the time I grabbed this snapshot at least, was resistance of 176, almost 177, and support down at almost 168. That's the manual way to do this. Any questions on that? All right, so again, here's the predictor. Again, the predictor is based on the, I would much prefer to use predictor because it does it for you, but it's based on the prior day's closing prices on the options. And then if we get too far into the trading day, probably better off doing it manually, spending a few minutes to do it manually. But there's GLD predictor up to 331.5. We're down to 320. And here's Diamond, 459 resistance or so, 449 support is what the predictor says. And Tom, it doesn't look like anybody has any questions on that. I know we've taught that before. I'll turn it back over to you. John, I'd use the predictor in the pre-market and then do the manual
For that day, John.
Yep.
But it gives you some, some basis if you're setting up your risk reward on these stocks. And it's pretty accurate because it's taking into account what the players on the floor think these stocks are going to do without any noise. They're pretty well telling you that, hey, if you want to dance, here's how you dance.
And you always got to have an all bets off. You can use that prior month's midpoint. I was talking to Tom earlier. he likes to use that midpoint from the prior month. If you get long, it definitely does not need to fall back below that midpoint from the prior month. Would be a case-by-case scenario. That might be too much risk. You can bump it up to the current week's low, or even the current reference bar low if you're really managing it close. So Tom, at the end of this week, we'll have a new algo to work from, won't we?
Yeah, we will. And, we were looking for a strategy that was designed to take advantage of our 3-day algo. And you saw us use the 3-day algo to make decisions throughout the month. And so I said, let's put together what I call a real-time alert system that allows people to take advantage of what all the work we do on this 3-day algo. So we put that together. And so it's more of a trade that sets up that we do options, and they're not, I wouldn't say it's real active from the standpoint we take advantage of the setups that are handed to us each and every month. And Jonathan, what would you add to that? Because you're doing a lot of the work on this one, but it seems to me what I like about it is we look at that 3-day algo every day of the month, might as well get paid what we're looking at. Well, I like it. Okay.
Yeah, we basically teach you the setup for the month, and it's a lot more swing term basis. If you consider a month a swing trade, it's a lot more focused on that instead of a 72-hour trade. Most of the times trades are 72-hour trades, and we just, he fires off one after the other. Well, in this program, we teach you how to, for lack of a better word, milk that trade for more profits. And so our goal is to hold the trades for the entire month. We set the expiration and everything up just for that. We give you an entire watch list. We have some slides here to go through all that. But we give you an entire watch list for the month, which we'll be handpicking from. It's our handpicked watch list, but we pick our favorite stock or two for the month to go with. And so you have an entire watch list that you can play from, and we'll give you our top picks as the month goes along. It's really a great program teaching you how to trade on a monthly trend. But it's called Afterburner Alerts, Tom, and we got a couple slides here before we...
Yeah, let's do that. Is anybody here interested in being part of something that takes advantage of the 3-day algo to show you the power of long-term view using the detail approach? Because this is really pretty exciting what we've done here. And it's the only strategy I know that's focused on using the afterburner target a year's worth of buy and hold returns in a single month. We're not going for the 20% here. We're going for, I guess we're going for what we call the Babe Ruth style of trade, but here's how it's going to work. Every month, we'll scour the market looking for launch pads setting up on the stocks where Wall Street's putting its money. When we find those stocks, our study shows we could have found a stock like Walmart back in September of last year. After the accelerator hit a few days after the 3-day algo, if you think about this, maybe you put $1,000 on the sucker. How much money could you make just off that one trade? Well, in this case, 90%. Does this get your attention with this style of trading? It got my attention, so I particularly pay attention to this program because it's more of a longer term approach to take advantage of the 3-day algo. 90% gain. That'd be, $1,000 be 900 on that one. We have, not a lot of trades, but anywhere up to 2 trades per month. Anybody use an extra couple thousand every month with a little bit of investment? Opportunities that paid out big returns for our members. And once you get your account grown, this is not day trading, but you're basically going, look at that 66 return there. Those 2 trades paid on $1,000, $1,600. This already gets your attention. There's 109% return on that one. That's a low return there, John, only 43%, huh?
Yeah, a low return. Yeah.
Low return. Take that watch list and tee these stocks up. Jonathan keeps up with it, sends an alert when they're ready. We get the option and we let it fly. Got a great master class to make sure you got all the criteria down before the first trade happens. We thought it was timely to let everybody know we're about to go on another round. And afterburner alerts. Look what Carol said. Thanks for the education. Boy, she was adverse to the stock market when I met her, but now she thinks it's fun and profitable. Fun and profitable. Now, you can try this for 1 month for 97 bucks. We're hit our average hit on this thing. It'd be about a 6 or 7 to 1. You ought to try it. Go to dtitrader.com/burn, baby, burn. Call 904-706-3532. Now, this is the executive summary of what I call the afterburner alerts. We're going to play for you the long version, but I wanted everybody to have a chance that maybe wanted to sign up, to get signed up. So I thought I would do this and talk about it. Any questions about the afterburner alerts? It's more than a fair trial program to get on here and try it. I'm like knocking on your door. You want to try to get it? We hit 2 trades this month, make about $1,500 off those 2 trades. It's a pretty good return for 97 bucks. Again, this focuses on our 3-day worksheet, which means the first trade will probably come out Friday. Jonathan, you got anything else to say about it before we go streamline?
Well, that's the earliest it'd be out Friday for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to wait for the FTD algo to form before you can trade. So,
Yeah.
follow a process, stay patient, and act when it's time to act. That's kind of the gist of everything here. That's just of any good process there.
I tell you what, if y'all stay around and y'all show a lot of interest in this, when the presentation's done, Jonathan, I'm going to put out a bonus trade at the end of end of the streaming. Okay,
Sounds good. Let's go ahead and get
get it going.
the presentation going. Yeah, absolutely. Hang on just a second.
Where some of these babies have been, and they'll go back up. Never know who's in these rooms. Anyway, I'm gonna get started. Thank you for being here. We got a huge crowd for our wrap up. Market, I'm calling this market 82, and so it's gonna come down to the monthly day. Brandon said was the name of it. Yeah, groundhog. I just 1/10 the money, so it's leverage with options, and we'll isolate those hottest stocks, and we'll play those in the month of March. On March the 4th, you got to remember, tested data in order to demonstrate the potential of it. In 51 trades, according to the study, it delivered 35 wins, 16 losers for a 68%, almost 70% win rate. Average gain, winners and losers combined was 28, almost 30%, with a profit factor of 1.82, about 2 to 1. We cannot guarantee any specific future results, as there's always a high degree of risk involved in trading. See our terms on the home page.
Now, what I've learned in 40 years, I've learned in trading there will be some losers. There's no black box miracle that prints out winning trades automatically. The whole purpose that I do this for, not only for you, but for me, is to get an edge in the markets. If you can't handle a losing trade, then you shouldn't be trading at all. As I wrote in my book, there's no crying in trading. Again, losses in trading have occurred and will occur in the future. You think of every trade as one of the next 10,000. You're not here for a brief period of time. You're here for the rest of your trading career. That's our goal. Folks don't know me. I'm Tom Busby. I've been trading for a lot of years, and certain stocks have explosive months that far outperform their pace for an entire year, like Walmart. Some people think these explosive monthly moves happen at random. They don't. I'll show you why they're not random, with no telltale signs at all. When you start seeing these hindsight headlines, wonder how it happened, what could have been. Walmart starts up 13% over the past month, came into earnings, now they're correcting, down about 10%. But I'm here to tell you, thanks to a little known signal hidden in the first 3 days of every month, possible to anticipate these explosive moves and jump in before the stock has a chance to race higher, allowing us a shot to capture a full year's worth of buy and hold stock returns in the matter of weeks. Let me stop right there. We're talking about a stock, maybe like Walmart, that produces 70-something% record year over a year, and be able to match that using options, using the format. Remember that date I told you, March 4th? That's the next date on the calendar. That's the date we'll be getting in that week. Take a look at a closer look at Walmart move here. It had an incredible year, up 72% January to December, the whole year long. A lot of overnights there. Now, nobody's going to complain about that, having that in your portfolio. 72% is pretty good, almost great. But anyone who knew about the signal I'm going to teach and trade the first 3 days of the month, put that aside, you don't have to worry about it. It sets up. Could have jumped in before the stock exploded all month long using this signal, and they jumped in with a straightforward option play. Nothing complicated. They only had a shot at matching the full year's return, which was 164% gain. That's 2.5 times that year. Now, that ought to wake you up. And you'll see today we have an opportunity to catch these explosive moves all year long. But you got to know about the 4th trading day of the month. Now, before I get into it, let me properly introduce myself to anyone new. Got a lot of new people showing up, and they're growing. I've been an active trader since the 70s. I'm a former member of Chicago Mercantile Exchange. In my professional career, I had the pleasure of working at Smith Barney. I was one of only 50 people selected to have a Globex terminal. What's significant about that, folks, the exchange saw fit to give me a Globex terminal. This is the forerunner to electronic trading. Only 50 of us got it outside of Chicago. I have 3 books published. In recent years, working with a lot of people, over 100,000 readers and students at DTI, I developed a new hobby, pinpointing unique strategies and opportunities no one else sees it. Like when I taught folks about a new CBOE regulation that made it possible to target cash over the Weekend Profits Club. When I identified a strange breakout signal in the stock market every Tuesday, the Power Program. And all that time, a breakout signal as powerful as what I'm showing you, night after night, day after day. But the key is March 4th coming up for the month of March. Before we get there, let me bust one of the most common trading routes. You probably might be holding yourself back and don't even know it, because the way you've been taught to trade, I mean, I surefire safest method taught by hedge funds and financial managers alike. They're keeping for your biggest and best opportunities. We don't care about the ticker. We care about the numbers of the ticker. The old buy and hold portfolio. Most traders talk about all the bad with a little bit of good by selling for buy and hold schemes. You see, a really great stock like NVIDIA breaking higher on extended rally could have been played 10 months last year. 10 months. Decide to dip your toe in, add some shares to your portfolio, watch it wipe out the next month. You see, just because the stock was strong in January, February, March, if it doesn't fit the criteria, doesn't mean it's going to be strong in April and May. And if the stock was weak in June or July, doesn't mean it's going to be strong in August or weak in August. Now, if you ever fall in that trap, let me be very clear. It's not your fault. In reality, stocks don't move in a straight line. I've talked about that year to year, even month to month. There's good months, there's bad months, and months where a stock hardly moves at all. But as you'll soon see, every month there's a Wall Street force which can seem random, but is absolutely consistent, identifying the stocks that are going to move. Berkshire was a stock that moved this month. That's an example. NVIDIA was a stock that moved this month. Years worth of returns in just one single month using this strategy. Like what happened in NVIDIA back in October. Now you probably think of NVIDIA in 23 and 24 as one of the hottest stocks on the planet, which it was. 2024, the stock nearly rose 200%, but it didn't go in a straight line, did it? August, September were rough months for the chip-making powerhouse. Shares got hammered in August when investors decided their record earnings simply wasn't good enough. Dropped, I think, 38% in that time frame. And September started even worse, was the worst ever single-day loss of value in the stock's history. Entering October chart didn't look pretty. However, look at this. Make that change over. From September to October, it's like a switch was flipped. Stop light went from red to green. That's what you're looking for. Now, the answer to this question is use this approach. That's how you can see it. And as I'll show you, we've isolated that signal right in that 3-day window. First 3 days of the month. When it triggers, like it did right there, look at that. Bada boom. Even though stock's been stuck in neutral or reverse for months, anyone who followed that signal in NVIDIA in October could have seen a juicy 6% gain almost no one was expecting in 1 month. That kind of reversal might seem like an outlier or to happen for no reason whatsoever because of the undercover Wall Street force, which had sent stocks absolutely soaring for the month. In a nutshell, at the beginning of every month, there's something special that happens. A massive flood of capital pours into very specific funds, roughly $25 billion a month on average. And this sudden surge of new cash forces Wall Street institution funds to buy stocks, pushing them higher all month long. The key here is wait and go month to month using options, not the underlying stock, but using options on an approach that gets started on the 4th trading day of the month. Look at Devon. Stock was neutral, not going anywhere. Positive earnings report. Calendar turned to March. Moved a little higher. Started roaring like clockwork. So what happened? The calendar changed over. Wall Street started testing waters on Devon, with the stock moving amount of investment. But all that money flooded in, the stock was extremely likely to race higher, and that's exactly what happened. Most folks didn't catch it, but anyway, they knew about one key signal near the start of the month could have gotten in. And after the afterburners engaged all month long, here we go, 238%. And the beauty of this, you have a cross check over 12 times a year. The first few trade days of the month will set the tone, tip their hand on the stocks they plan to accumulate. And when the fireworks begin, you're there. And at the beginning of each month, Wall Street gets a ton of cash pouring in. We're talking about money coming in your 401k, IRAs, pension funds, you name it. And it's not like only a few bucks here. It's a lot of money. Deposits reached over $1 trillion last year alone. They're putting that cash directly in the stock. that hedge funds and Wall Street thinks are most likely to pay. And as Wall Street starts every new month with a whole new heap of cash, has to go somewhere, and they just don't throw it in the S&P. Now, if they did that, no one would invest with them, would they? Money managers get paid hefty performance bonus for beating the S&P, and you have a few stocks that diverge from whatever trend you're in. So at the start of the month, they dip their toe in for a number of stocks, searching for that, which one's going to be the one and which one's going to respond the most favorably, and they keep buying that sucker all along. Like American Express, great stock back in 2024. Those surprised that Wall Street has an eye on American Express all the time. Hey, it's one of Buffett's favorite stocks. But June wasn't pretty for the stock. When the calendar flipped, here we go. We saw a wave of new investment first 3 days of the month. And since the stock reacted positively, Wall Street knew it was a great time to hit the afterburners and pour in more cash. Now, it shouldn't surprise you that Wall Street can make the stock market move. But you might be surprised to know that regular everyday traders ride those waves to giant monthly trade opportunities, and you don't need to track insider buying to do it. We have the setup, we have the tools, we can do this ourselves. Now, you just need to look at the key sign the first 3 days of the month. Like on the American Express example I just showed you, first 3 days of the month, Wall Street was testing the waters, find out what the markets would give it, back and forth. All was needed for that stock to open even higher, show us that Wall Street was coming back and pouring in more money. We got the exact signal in a few days. American Express started ripping higher, and here we go. You know when to look, how to look. You got your numbers, and you're ready to go. The day Wall Street was poured more capital into the American Express, you jumped in on aggressive bullish pay, waited to the end of the month, and looking at 125% gain in less than a month. All on a stock that returned just 60% for the entire year, meaning just one trade alone, anyone could have doubled the yearly return on American Express in less than a month. And every time you see a sturge over, it's almost certain sign that Wall Street's rotating money in there. That's called money flow. That's why I call this window the launch pad. If Wall Street gets the response it's looking for, they're ready to turn on the afterburners and send the sort. Does everybody know what afterburners are on a jet? Let me ask that question. Who knows what afterburners are on a jet? Watch this happen again in September on another favorite, Amazon. Here we go. Now remind you, September wasn't a pretty month for stocks. In fact, September was off to a historically bad start. But even at an awful start, Amazon was trying to push. Very similar to Apple this month. Suggests that Wall Street was flooding in and a launch pad was forming. A few days later, stock had started to rally, climbing high enough to be the fourth most valuable company in the world for a period of time, which meant the very next day, the signal came, immediate move higher, and from there, it was off to the races. If you'd caught that signal, jumped in when it fired, you could have gained 39% in a few weeks. Now, imagine Amazon's year-long gains, all during the worst trading month of the year. Now, 2000, placing that stock, could have paid out $774 in a matter of weeks. Now, that's enough to get your attention, especially when the price of eggs is out of control. And the amount of money that people believe they need to able to retire is always on the rise. Ever since I've been around, been on the rise. And the best part about this strategy, you don't have to front run the market, because during the first 3 days of the month, Wall Street is just probing the market, trying to find out which stocks have it. Trillions of dollars. Instead, they're going to see how we're going to take advantage of it, is what we're going to do. And whether it starts building momentum, stock moves favorably, only then they will start to unleash the money. For example, look back at American Express, strong earnings report, surged higher, the calendar flipped over, pushed the stock even higher, but pay close attention. Watch what happens. Now, showing us how Wall Street was willing to push it over 3 days. Everyone else to prove Wall Street there was they should put their money in. That's exactly what happened. Look at that candle. Look at that candle grow. That's what I call the afterburner candle. That's what you're looking for. But as soon as the Wall Street sees the puppy, they fire all engines and off we go, which is exactly what happened. You get 3 of these a month going your way, and that retirement account, the one that you're, sort of leaving for long term, is going to grow. You got a factor of 1 versus 10 times leverage doing this. It's a great strategy. Now, you had to figure out what Wall Street is doing and figure it out. You could simply wait for the afterburner and jumped in before the stock raised higher, 158%. Once again, more than doubling the year-long efforts of the stock in a single month. Watch this play out in NVIDIA from January. Look what happened. Everyone knows NVIDIA's 2023 was one of the record books. But by the end of the year, experts were warning of a big collapse. They always do that, by the way. Okay? Some even like it that Cisco's epic meltdown after the dot-com bubble. You can understand investors were a bit cautious after that kind of move. But that's not what Launchpad showed us. Immediately, big money was pouring in, trying to push the stock higher. Wall Street didn't have to wait long. Very next day, Afterburner fired, showing Wall Street the momentum was definitely there, and they could safely fire those jets off. And they did, sending the stock soaring higher all month long. Anybody that known after or about the Afterburner, you get in and let it move higher with your money, which is the fun part. 109% winner on that one. 2,000 into 4,180 bucks. Now you should be starting to see the power of what I'm teaching right now. This ought to be helping you get a mental picture of why that date I told you at the beginning of this webinar was important. March 4th. Don't forget that date. You've heard those average selling May and go away. Well, Wall Street certainly didn't listen to Amazon last year. You see the Launchpad setting up, clear as day, the first 3 days in June, off we went. Now type your answer. What do you think Amazon did in June? What do you think Amazon did? Type your answer in there, up or down, when you see that. That's right, Kim. That's right. That's right, Bruce. Okay. Everybody's getting it now. That's right. That certain afterburner hits, pushes the stock higher, meaning what you think would happen next. Here we go. That's what we're going to do March the 4th. See that afterburner and go. For the explosion higher, wait to the end of the month, get out. And that could see an outrageous 118% gain. Eclipsing the total year-long returns to Amazon more than 2.5 times. Now, of course, that's a monster return. And I can't guarantee future returns. Losses do happen. That's part of trading. But whether it's a 40% return, 6% return, all the examples I went over, when it works out, these afterburners have repeatedly shown the power to blow the old buy and hold portfolio tactics out of the water. Now, I've shown you several great effects of the afterburner this afternoon. But it boils down to a simple process. And that process is, like I told you, on your calendar, mark the date, March 4th. We will look and scan the stocks that have good options and that are showing the propensity to move. And then we'll take those options and we'll enter those options with a target date to exit that last week of the month. That simple. Enter on the first of the month on March the 4th, exit on the last week of the month. Everybody here can do this. Starts on the 4th day of the month. By the end of that day, you see the afterburner forming, and we start committing that week to exit on the last part of the month. We'll set our risk limit. I'll show you what that is. Set your target. Sort of set it and forget it type of trade. You ask for it, we put it together, and I've got it. So if you're watching right now and capable of taking a simple strategy and putting it to work, this is for you. You don't need any fancy indicators to do this. All you need to know is this timing approach. No advanced software. You don't need to worry about buying and holding for months at a time. We know our end date. You just need to know what to look for on the 4th day of the month. And my team and I would like to help you get started. We'll show you how it works. We'll welcome you to this premium trading group we call Afterburner Alerts. Let me stop. I want everybody here to know when we're going to get started. March the 4th. Put it on your calendar. March the 4th. That's that Tuesday. I call it trade day. It's the only strategy I know of using the afterburner approach, using and targeting money to exit that last part of the month. It will outperform buying and hold. Here's how it's going to work. Our team will go through the markets, identify the candidates. You've heard of my 10 tickers. I will take the 10 tickers that most qualify, watch those tickers, and then we go into the action mode on the 4th day. You saw how valuable it is. What I do each every week. We're going to take it to the next level. We'll send all the alerts and the detail to you, email. We'll have a room for you for the afterburners. We'll take the symbol, the entry price, where we're going to exit at. It's all going to be there. Just like our study shows, you can see it on Walmart back in September. Our team would sing the Launchpad Foreman in the first 3 days. Accelerator fired, off we went. You got the email, you did the trade. It went higher over the following days. You took your profit for a 90% winner. Now, Wall Street is only going to pour money into the very best stocks. We'll find out in that 3-day period. We'll be watching it like a hawk for every single one. You'll have 10 candidates. Hard to beat 3, might do 5, but you'll have it. Entered on that week, exited at the last week of the month. That's our plan. You don't have to be set to your computer. It's that old set it and forget it with our strategy. You get SMS alerts, Telegram alerts, you'll be notified. So whether you're at home or on the go, you'll get the tickers, you'll get the entry prices, you'll get the options, and you'll be ready to go. Which would come in handy just days ago, according to our research. Because earlier, CrowdStrike, and when the accelerator fired the next day, look at it. Right there, works the same way. Up we went, off to the record. Shot at 40% winner in a few days on that one. 1,000, and each of those 2 trades would have paid the following. That's pretty good money. $1,306 in afterburner winners. And if you've been twice as common, put more money in, you've made $26.12. Now, of course, not every trade is going to work out that well, but imagine what's possible with 2 or 3 of those trades per month. Let the percentages work for you. At DTI, there's we give a whole lot more than just giving you spoon-fed trades. I teach you how to fish. In fact, teaching has been a passion of my 40-year career, and that won't change with Afterburner Alerts. That is why I'm thrilled to announce the Afterburner Alerts Masterclass. In this class, my team and I will teach you everything you need to know about this strategy, how to use it, how to identify it, how to apply it, how to allocate it. All that will be included. Which trades to set up, when to get out, to take profits or help get out of the bad ones, and so much more. I'm confident this class I could sell for $497. Just ask 1,000 students who learned from me. Here are a few of our top stories. Look what Deb said. And she's right. I want you to succeed, but you got to listen and take the trades. Or Carol totally was against this game until she got involved. She's become a very, very effective trader. Took a lot of time, but she did. Carlos, who runs a section at Google, a local. You've met him. He's a great guy. He loves what I do, and he comes to every event I have here in Jacksonville. Now, I want to put your picture up here the next time I talk about Afterburner alerts. After attending our live masterclass, take a deep breath for a second. Look at everything you get when you join today. You get the Afterburner class masterclass. You get the Telegram channel. You get the email alerts, 2 or 3 trades minimum per month, and SMS alerts. We could charge whatever we want to after I show this year. Take a look at everything you're going to get right away. Total access. But 2 things that make it easy for you to see. I want everyone to know that we recently supercharged our customer support to give you better help. You got free access there as a VIP. Every Monday through Friday, any questions. Help you all the students answer the questions. You might have about your membership, trade alerts, one-click trading, and more. If you have questions, this should be your very first stop. Now, for part 2, I'm going to slash the price for new members. Like I said, as I take this group, my beta group through it with me, we're going to take advantage of it. And there's an urgent reason why. See that chart right there? Chart of a hedge fund buying tendencies. And that red circle, that shows us the hedge fund activity is near its highest levels extra. Money is going to flow in this market. This groundhog market I talked about, which means that the time has never been better to start targeting afterburner opportunities. So, on this beta price today, we're not going to charge you top dollar. Trading with me, you can extend your subscription if you want to. You got the founder's discount to everyone here today. Forget about paying the $19.97. Lock yourself in, just try these trades out. This is what I'm going to do to make sure everybody here that's serious about trading can join. You got to do this because it will put you in a position to maybe stay longer or not. You get 3 months. We lowered the price to $247 to give you a chance to see this work. What date? March the 4th for the month of March. Giving you a shot to try out these trades and get to know the strategy and prove just how powerful what we're talking about. Now, we're going to drop the link in here right now. I don't know if there's a limit on what they're going to accept today, but I can tell you the following. Here's what you want. March the 4th is the kickoff date. There's one more thing about getting these first 3 months. Wins are never guaranteed, but my option hack is going to be taught, and you will be able to see things that help you maybe break even in a worst case scenario. How you like that? Nifty trick for when you want to lock in your gains and spend more time watching a trade develop. I call it the Delta 50 option hack. Love the name, but I love the technique even more. And I'll teach you all about it and how to use it. I'm giving you 3 months for this price, Robin. 3 months, that's right. And you get a lot of stuff in that 3 months. The masterclass, first of all. Absolutely free as part of the year. Actually less for Afterburner alerts, the Delta 50 than you pay for the class alone. But you have to join today to get access to it. So don't sit on the fence too long, because the rock bottom introductory price is introductory if you want to get in.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Or call our
Hi,
number,
Mercedes. This is
946-3533.
Kelly Barber with Nate Tucci's group with the Prosperity
Can I
Pub.
answer your questions if you got any? I think I covered it all, but if you got any, it's time to get serious about March.
All right, folks, we had a little here from Kelly Barber there answering a phone call, but we were just listening to a replay of last time, or one of the last times Tom went through the Afterburner service. Must have been from earlier this year. But today the offer is a 30-day trial, essentially at $97. The link hasn't changed. It's still dtitrader.com/burn. And I don't know if Tom can hear me, but Tom had a trade he was going to give us live. So thanks for sticking around. Tom's going to be on in just a moment here to give us a trade setup that he's watching. Maybe I'll give Tom a call to let him know that the stream is done and we're all looking forward to hearing what he has to say. Give me just a moment.
All right, folks, here's a trade that I'm doing. Let me give it to you. It's on the TQQ. Sell the 85 put, buy the 83 put.
What's your expiration on that, Tom?
This Friday.
And what's your desired credit there to get received?
Where's it currently trading?
TQQQ, September 5th, 85.83, the 2 wide. I've got it marked at around 29 cents.
Let's sell it there and let's buy it back at 11 cents. Good to cancel.
And I'll send this over to TNT.
Right, TNT's the one getting it.
Right, sounds good.
All right, folks. Hope that was worth waiting around for. But anyway, I looked at it. I said, we'll do that trade. All right. Thanks, Jonathan. I'll see everybody tonight at 8.
Thanks, Tom.